This video tutorial will cover what peer review is, why peer review matters, and how to find peer-reviewed sources through the UIS library. So what is peer review? Peer review is a process that scholarly articles undergo before they are published. Some disciplines use the term refereed instead of peer-reviewed, but the process is the same. This infographic explains the steps of the peer review process. First, researchers conduct some kind of research. For example, astronomers looking at the stars, historians examining historical evidence, or educators studying what happens in the classroom. Next, those researchers draft a paper that discusses their methodology and results in a very formal, structured way, a scholarly article. Next, they submit the paper to a scholarly journal that publishes work in their discipline. The editor of the journal reviews it, and if they approve, they share it with peer reviewers, other scholars in the same field as the author, who scrutinize the methodology, literature review, and conclusions. The original researcher receives their comments and recommendations, makes revisions, and resubmits. If the editor accepts their revisions, the article finally gets published. This is not like the peer review you may have experienced in class before, where you hand a copy of your paper to your classmate and they correct your spelling and grammar. These peer reviewers are experts in the same field as the authors and give very rigorous feedback about the content of the article. This process can take up to a year, which means you won't be able to find peer-reviewed articles about something that just happened. Now that you understand what peer review is, why should you care if a source has been peer-reviewed? Firstly, your instructor may ask you to find and cite peer-reviewed sources for an assignment. Secondly, the rigorous process of peer review makes a source more likely to be credible. Humans are fallible creatures, but peer review is maybe the most effective process humans have developed for minimizing the possibility for errors in scholarly work. Thirdly, scholarship is an ongoing conversation between researchers all around the world, and peer-reviewed articles are how that conversation takes place. As a college student, you can participate in that conversation by reading peer-reviewed articles and writing research papers of your own. Now that you know what peer review is and why it matters, it's time to find some peer-reviewed sources. You could try to use Google or a generative AI tool to find them, but Google isn't designed to search for scholarly sources, and generative AI tools can return false information or fake citations for articles that don't really exist. UIS library search tools will be more efficient at finding real, high-quality sources, if you know how to use them. Start on the UIS library website at uis.edu/library. The search box in the middle of the screen searches all the resources you have access to through the library. Enter your keywords into the search box and click Search. For example, if I was interested in the effect of social media on the mental health of college students, I'd enter social media, college student mental health. Once you get to the results page, you can narrow down your results using the filters on the left side of the screen. To see only peer-reviewed sources, click Peer-Reviewed Journals. Other library search tools, such as Academic Search Complete, also let you filter for peer-reviewed sources. I'm also going to enter the year 2020 into the creation date filter and click Refine to see only recently published results. The database filter isn't perfect, so you'll need to examine individual articles to double-check that they're peer-reviewed. To access the PDF of an article, click on the title of the article, click the link under View Online, and then click View PDF. If you're off campus, you might have to sign in with your NetID and password. Once you're looking at the full text of the article, there are a few clues to tell you that it's been peer-reviewed. These clues will help you differentiate peer-reviewed articles from the other kinds of things scholarly journals sometimes publish, book reviews and editorials. Peer review is a process that applies to original research, and by reading the abstract of the article, I can tell it's about original research. The authors collected their own data and analyzed it themselves. The dates here show that it was revised before being accepted. Sometimes there's even an acknowledgement section that thanks peer reviewers, but it doesn't look like there's one here. If you have any questions or issues finding peer-reviewed sources or identifying whether a source has been peer-reviewed, please contact the library.